So, about 15% of all voters in Florida are Hispanic. Even some prominent Republicans, Hispanic Republicans, such as the mayor of Miami, said they wouldn't vote for you. How confident are you of winning a heavily Hispanic state, and what is your path to victory here?
Well, we're doing very well in the polls, as you know. We're even and maybe even leading, and we haven't started yet, whereas they put in a lot of negative ads, which are false ads. They understand they're false ads, and the people aren't buying it. In the primaries, we won massively, and I think we're going to win massively Florida. I have many places in Florida, including Doral, where we have thousands of employees. We have thousands of employees in Florida, whether it's in Miami or Palm Beach or Jupiter and lots of other places. And those are great people. These are fantastic people that we have, just fantastic people. And I think we're going to win Florida very, very heavily. The Latinos are going to go for me, and you're starting to see that in the polls because I'm going to bring back jobs. We need jobs desperately in this country, but also in Florida. And the Latinos are liking Trump because they know I'm bringing back jobs. We're not going to lose all our jobs. Right now we're losing our jobs left and right. We're not going to lose our jobs. And that's why I'm starting to really do well with the Latinos, because they want to make sure that they have jobs. And they also don't want other people coming in illegally and taking their jobs.
Okay. Statements such as the recent Second Amendment remark, the invitation for Russia to hack the DNC emails, they were sort of waved away by yourself and supporters as you joking or being sarcastic. Shouldn't someone running for president be very careful about what they say? And are you worried that people might take that as an incitement to violence?
No, not at all. And you understand that we're at a level where the press tries to take things and make them certain. Well, not all of the press. Most of the press covered it accurately, but all of the things that I've said have been fully understood, and they understand the way I say them. And frankly, most of the press has covered it pretty accurately.
Okay. In situations like the Orlando shooting, you have a shooter who's a lone wolf. He's sort of drawn to ISIS despite the fact he's an American citizen. Like, what can be done in order to stop those sort of lone wolf attacks where there is no sort of international connection to ISIS?
Well, the biggest thing is vigilance. There are people that knew he was a sick person, and there were a lot of people in his community that knew that he was a very sick person, and they should have reported him. And in some cases they did report him, and nobody did anything about it. But they should have reported him, and they should have just kept it going, and they could have found out maybe by luck, because you do need a certain amount of luck, frankly. But without so much, you could have reported him if they would have taken advantage of all of the reports that were made, because there were a lot of people that were saying they knew that he was sick, and people did not take advantage of that knowledge. People have to report these people that are sick, and everybody knows it. They have to report them, and they have to report them very, very strongly. And I think that's probably part of it. They have to be very, very strong in their reporting.
You had said after the Orlando shooting that LGBT people, should vote for you because you'll protect them. Today you spoke at a pastors' convention in Orlando that some people have described as anti-LGBT. There were some protests outside. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I know they broke their record in attendance. I didn't see any protesters outside at all. I didn't know that they were even having protests, but I can tell you I was there and I didn't see any protests whatsoever.
Okay. You're campaigning in Connecticut, I think, later this week. Do you really think you can win some of the more traditionally, blue states?
I do. I mean, we're doing very well in Connecticut. We're doing very well in Michigan. We're doing very well in certain areas that a lot of people wouldn't think that a Republican would do well in. And I think we're going to do very well in certain other states that you haven't mentioned. We're working very hard. We're down here today. You see the kind of crowds we have. We have massive audiences everywhere we go. Hillary doesn't. She has very poor audiences, actually. She has empty seats all over the place. And I think you're starting to see the polls get very, very close. The Rasmussen poll just came out, and it's very, very close. And a lot of the other polls came out. In Florida, I haven't even started yet. I've been down here a lot, but we haven't started ads yet. We'll be starting them over the next 2 weeks. And already we're either up or we're even in the state of Florida, which is very important. And we've had tremendous success in Florida, as you know, in the primaries. And I think with all of the jobs that I've created in Florida, I think the people of Florida, which is thousands, I think the people of Florida really appreciate that.
What's your you've had several different positions on minimum wage, which is, a lot of the people who live in Central Florida are, part-time workers, they're tourism workers. What is your position on the minimum wage and whether it should be raised or not?
Well, I think what you should do is leave it to states. For instance, in New York, it's extremely expensive to live, and they can lift it, and other places they can't do that because it's, one of those things. But I really believe that one of the ways you have to look at minimum wage is you leave it up to the states. And certain states are very much less expensive to live than others, and some are very, very expensive. You leave it up to the states, and it'll take care of itself.
And also, one of the bigger issues here in Florida is, climate change. What it is, it's been said that you've called, climate change, not something that's you believe in. Like, what do you think, can be done? What should be done? Like, what is your position on it?
Well, our businesses have to be able to compete with other countries because we're getting beaten very badly by other countries, whether it's China or Japan or anywhere you can imagine. Name a country: India, Vietnam, Mexico. And they don't look at climate change the way we look at climate change. And it makes it very, very hard for our companies to compete. It makes it very, very hard for jobs to be created. And we're putting up a lot of barriers to being able to compete. So we need jobs, we need strength, we need to be smart, frankly. I mean, when you look at what other countries do to us on trade, and one of the reasons is because we're unable to compete because we have so many rules, regulations, and barriers. So I want to be able to compete economically. I want great jobs in this country, and I want people to be able to make terrific wages.
Okay, Donald Trump, thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.